NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is Friday. We have 10 games. It is day 2 of the NBA Emirates Tournament Cup Tournament Champions, whatever we call it.
You absolutely nailed that one. I love it. You should,
whatever
honestly,
we're calling it.
You should just keep going with that name exactly.
The Emirates Champions of Tournaments.
Keep going. It's getting better.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. We had 10 games on this main slate. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some key injuries potentially.
Huge implications. Yeah.
Huge implications. Huge implications.
Some like Serbian-sized ones, like as big as the country. You know?
I mean, listen, we complained that he wasn't available to us the other day.
He might not actually be available on the slate.
He may not be available to us now. Anyways, so we're talking about Nikola Jokic. He's questionable against Pelicans here. And what would just be a ridiculous spot for Nikola Jokic. SGA is on this slate. He gets Phoenix. He's been really good. Victor Wembanyama, Mr. 50 bucket. He's on this slate. He's at the Lakers. He's 11-1. LeBron James.
He heard that scout that said he can't score, I think, John. I think he took that personally.
LeBron James loves the in-season tournament.
James
he is here to stamp his legacy. LeBron James, ladies and gentlemen, the oldest player in NBA history for 3 straight triple-doubles. And before he started this 3 straight triple-double game, he dropped 39 on Memphis.
Yeah. And won someone a parlay. Did you see that video?
No.
Did you see the video of the fan that was yelling, "One more rebound"?
No.
And LeBron said, "I got you," and then grabbed the rebound and he pointed at him.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, it happened.
That's great. I love it.
He's like, he pointed at me. That's a great video.
Love that. Anyways, LBJ up over 10K, unbelievable. JoJo Embiid 10K, second game for him. We'll see if there's any minutes. We know there will be a minutes restriction. We don't know what that minutes restriction is going to be because it was 25 to 30 in his debut. He played 26 in that game, looked horrible.
Did not
looked absolutely horrible in that game against the Knicks. Paul George, no minutes restriction. That was lifted for him here. So again, a whole lot to talk about. We'll break it all down. We go game by game. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you can hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. You guys know it. It's a free way to support what we do here. It is, we appreciate it. And if you guys want to leave comments in the chat. We're happy to, talk to you guys about what's going on this slate. 10 games. We know there are going to be a lot of minutes, hopefully some fun matchups. And we've had a lot of success over the last couple of weeks here. The playbooks have all been fire. Seen the Discord. Everybody's cashing. We're all having fun out there. Unless you're playing Ty Jerome or Dante DiVincenzo or, guys like that. Really letting us down the other day, but the rest of the lineups were fire. So enough of the rambling, enough of the rattling. Let's just get into it here.
By position, by the way. I know John just misspoke. He said game by game. We do, if you are tuning in for the first time, we go position by position. We will talk about all the games that are being played throughout the course of the breakdown, but we will be going position by position.
Yes, position by position. Sorry, I was distracted by my hockey sweat that's going on. I just had a guy score a goal for me. So we win in all sports. It's not just NBA. As I say this, McDavid scores a goal. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this night it turns out. We're talking basketball though. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Remember, we were corrected on the way we said his name before in chat. He's good.
Well,
I'm correct. I don't say anybody's name correctly. It's almost a bit at this point, unintentionally. He was really good against the Pelicans. 29, 5 and 5, 2 blocks, 2 steals. 51 fantasy points. Here's the thing, though. That's not paying off the price tag at 51.
No. And he was up against Giannis went for 100.
Yep.
Wemby went for 70.
Yep.
Cade went for 70.
Everybody went out.
So
Zach LaVine had 56 fantasy points on that slate. So like
Brook Lopez went for 60.
Yeah.
I mean, so like, yeah, he was good.
He wasn't worth it. Will he be worth it versus Phoenix? That's the question. Because $9,900 Trae Young is behind him. Atlanta pulls off the upset against Boston in round 1 of the in-season tournament. So they're moving. Like they're on their way to clinching their, their bracket pool here.
Yeah.
Right? And now
if they win this game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And now they got Trae back against Washington. He's already playing 40 plus minutes. Like this is a bingo spot for Trae Young. He's had it already. He went for 68 fantasy points in that game. Yes, he had the one down game, 2 for 15, still had almost a triple double in 47, but he's under 10K still. This is a guy that was 10-3, 10-4, 10-6, 10-3, 10-4. Now he's back under 10K. I'm probably playing some Trae Young over SGA on this slate. I don't know what you feel about that. Washington has Kyle Kuzma back, so they're being a little bit more of a competitive team as well, which is good to see. Obviously, you have Booker, you have Harden, you have Cade all in that 9K range. Big sad for those of us who had James Harden the other day, where Ty Lue just played the backups because they were down 19, and the backups brought them all the way back. So James Harden and the starters never saw the floor again. And then Cade Cunningham has been ridiculous. He got off to a wildly slow start in that game.
He did.
And then he dominated 35, 7, and 11. So price per dollar for me, Trae Young, Cade Cunningham are the two I'm looking at here.
Agreed. I mean, like, I'd say the one thing I'd say about SGA, obviously, they could relax on his minutes because they got such a big lead at the end of that game. 33.
Mm-hmm.
We saw in the competitive game against the Clippers, he played 39. You give him 6 more minutes in that game, he gets you 60, right? Not that it would have been enough, because it still would not have been based on the slate that we just had. And you needed 380 points to min cash on DraftKings. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely get to SGA. No Bradley Beal in that game. Phoenix kind of reeling. That doesn't make it easier for SGA because, Ryan Dunn's a really good defender. Royce O'Neal, really good defender. So he will be defended by good players. Can definitely get there. But I agree. I think Trae Young is in the better spot. It is worth mentioning Bilal Coulibaly is a great defender. But again, he was a great defender once, and then they played him again, and Trae's like, actually, I'm Trae Young. Like, let's not make this happen again. And he didn't. 35 and 15. So I love Trae. Definitely think you can get to Booker. Last game, kind of an anomaly. Second night of a back-to-back, they got blown out. They were giving everyone minutes like Oprah gives out cars. And I don't think that's going to be the case in the in-season tournament here against OKC, especially without Beal and Durant. So,
well, that's my biggest worry, honestly, is the fact that OKC is just going to throw double teams and their best defenders all over this dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough spot, but like we've talked about it a lot this year, and sometimes, when teams are shorthanded, there's just a lot of things to be had in fantasy, and the game prior, Devin Booker had 31, but the first game without Durant, he had 23 and 12 assists, right?
Yeah.
And almost went for 50. And I know the price is clearly different than where it was, but 2 of the 3 games without Durant have been booms, 48 and 50 fantasy points. So like I know OKC is good defensively, but they're missing 2 of their best 3 players and arguably their best player overall.
Yeah.
So I'm not personally shying away from Booker. I don't disagree with your ranking where Trae and Cade are your top 2.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey's questionable again. Tim Hardaway's doubtful. Fontecchio's doubtful.
Yep.
They're going to be shorthanded again, most likely against Toronto. So Cade didn't get a triple double, 5 stocks in that game. I know there was overtime. He took 34 shots.
Yeah.
Right? Like if there's no Jaden Ivey again, who's to say he doesn't take 30 shots again? This is the LaMelo Ball thing that I've harped on since
he's the super talented offensive player. And listen, you say no Jaden Ivey as if Malik Beasley didn't go out there and take 25 shots.
That's true.
So it's not like he wasn't with another guy that didn't, was just firing away at all cylinders there. So that's kind of where I'm at. If you want to go down to the next tier again, I think Brandon Ingram is fine. Again, 35 minutes is great. It was a tough spot against OKC. Denver, at least they're home. Denver doesn't have Jokic. Obviously, that game becomes a little bit more of a competitive matchup. Not a little bit more, like obviously it will become a more competitive matchup. Because they got Trey Murphy back. Brandon Boston still played really well in that game. Yep. So they got some pieces that could compete. But again, 8,900, I'd rather just find the money for Cade. Halliburton. We knew Orlando was going to be a tough spot for him. He lit up New York the game before that. New York might just be sneaky bad, honestly. Right? They might be sneaky bad. Or at least not figuring it out yet, because the Bulls blew them out of the water as well in that game in terms of like offensive production against. Now he's got Miami, no buckets again. Do you think this is a like good Cade day or good Halliburton day or a bad Halliburton day? Because the price is obviously, I mean, we see it. If he's going to be 8K, but he's giving you a 65 and a 55 in 2 of the last 5, like that's enough to win a tournament at that price point.
Yeah, he's playable in tournaments. Dude, he had 8 assists in the first quarter in Orlando. And he didn't do a single thing the rest of the game. So
94-90 go total in that game as well. So
has that not been the Halliburton season in a nutshell though? Like 8 assists in a quarter and then does nothing for 3 quarters. That's like been his like full schedule this year.
Yeah.
He has like 1 good game, 3 bad ones, and then like we just continue that cycle. So you can play him in tournaments. He's going to play monster minutes because they're shorthanded right now. He's, their best player or what they are viewing as their franchise player. So yeah, if you want to play him in a tournament, by all means. Miami's not really defending anyone too well, and they're obviously getting good production from some players offensively. But if you want to play Halliburton in a tournament, I do think it's interesting. We didn't mention Brunson. I'm assuming Towns plays, just like every Knicks player is apparently just goes from questionable to in. We talked about it on the show the other day. Like they're just in. But I do think if Towns were to sit, then we're talking about Brunson of last year, right? With the team to himself.
Yep.
That's when I'd start being like, I think we should probably like consider getting some Jalen Brunson here.
Yeah. No, 100%. I would have no problems getting to Brunson by himself there. And obviously it would make everybody else a bit more interesting.
Right.
And that's why Claxton's also questionable for this game. So Brooklyn could be down their center in that game. Again, the 8,600 is a fine price point. Donnie Mitch, we talked about the Chicago matchup the other day. He went for 60. He's now gone back to back 60. You heard us maybe talking some shit about his lack of boom.
I know, the personal stats are crazy.
Yeah, he's bringing the boom now. Home versus Chicago, pace up spot. 8,200 is too cheap.
Yes.
For this version of Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, I got nothing else to add. Correct. That's correct. He was just shy of a triple-double that he tried to hunt and almost cost him the game.
Yeah. Tyler Hero, also amazing. 70 bomb against Detroit. I've been saying it all season long. Nobody is talking more about Tyler Hero than me this year.
You've to give yourself credit in general, you've always been regular season Tyler Hero fan number 1. Because they are, for the last few years, it's just been what it's been. They are often injured. Jimmy plays X amount of games, and Tyler Hero's the guy that they're like, we need you to get us to the 8 seed.
Yeah,
get us to the 7 seed.
You and I were just chilling on stream, not recording, just watching him go down, heat checking himself for like
the entire fourth quarter
possession. Right?
That was crazy.
You're like, dude, he just had a rebound, and then all of a sudden it was like, we see the score adjust on Gamecast, 3 points, pull up 3, Tyler Hero, steal, pull up 3, Tyler Hero. Like what? Just like 9 points in a row. Dude, Indiana. I mean, again, they're not a great defensive team. They don't have Neesmith. Like they don't have what's his face there either, Nembhard.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Hero is going to go out there and take 20 plus shots. He's going to lead Is he going to hit 10 of 17 from 3 again? Probably not, but maybe he's going to take a lot of them. He's going to take enough. Yep. So I like Hero in tournaments. Jordan Poole on the other side again, 42 actual. Dude, the scoring was so insane. So insane. Like, we were talking 400 plus points. We're winning tournaments on DraftKings.
440, dude. Yeah. It was 440. I got a message from our boy Bowers. He said, winning lineups on FanDuel were over 500 points.
Yeah.
Like
I had 390 on DraftKings with 11 points from Ty Jerome. Yeah. 390. Yep. And I'm in cash. So like crazy life. So yeah, Hero, Poole, Garland's been really good, and he gets the Chicago matchup here. Yep. No Jokic, Jamal Murray at $7,100.
So cheap. He's so cheap.
Would be amazing of a value to get to there. Yep. Kobe White 67. Dyson Daniels 10 steal game on the way, right? Like
we doubted him a little bit.
We doubted him versus Boston. He had 6 steals, 7, 6, 6 the last 3 games.
Like again, realistically, like just speaking realistically, and I'm not going to slight Dyson Daniels. Salute to what he's been. He's always been good. I've been a Dyson Daniels guy. He's always been good when he gets the opportunity. This is not sustainable over a long period of time.
Probably not. No,
over a long period of time. But like in a short window with Washington on the schedule, it's possible. It's possible.
I'm going to try to see what the NBA record for steals per game in a season is 3.67. He's at 3.
He's at that.
He's at 3.6. That was in 1985. That is the NBA record. All-time single season steals was 301. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of that. So, like, he's again, you're right, not sustainable, but like, unless he's going for the NBA record, it's sustainable. Right? Like, just insane. And it's Washington. Like, they have a very inexperienced team that they're going to be putting on the floor. So, what we've talked about really was like he was always a defensive player. I mean, he's shooting relatively well from the floor. He's not hitting any threes. He's taking them. He's not hitting them. So, you get Trey back. Obviously, Trey will absorb a lot of offensive upside there, but Daniels has been crazy defensively there. Schroeder versus the Knicks, 65. Boston, as I mentioned, there. A lot of okay guys in this mid-tier. What do we do with Jared McCain right now? 5,500. They're going to have George and Embiid back. It didn't matter against the Knicks. He had 23 in that game in 30 minutes. He obviously went nuclear versus Cleveland. But like I said to you, like, what if I said Maxey, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot. Dude, what if he's just that? What if he's that good?
There is absolutely no chance he does not start. I am betting it all on him. They have to start him. Doesn't matter. Does not matter that Paul George and him.
He almost single-handedly beat Cleveland.
Dude, he is legitimately the most unafraid rookie I've ever seen in a while in terms of he has confidence every single second he's on the floor. No, against anybody. It does not matter. Dude, him and Yabusele looked like Shaq and Kobe to start that game, right? And he looked like both of them throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So I mean, if he's starting, which again, I really expect him to, why would you not start him over whoever, right? Dude. It doesn't matter. Oubre, it doesn't matter Lowry. Yeah. It doesn't just start him. Just you have to. He's too good.
I asked my buddy who really watches college basketball, and I was like, how good was Jared McCain at Duke? And he was like, he was disgusting. He said he had a really bad final game or whatever that people sort of remember him for, but he was an absolute flamethrower playing for Duke. This guy, since the last 4 games, playing 30 minutes, he's shooting over 40% from 3, shooting 45% from the floor. We were worried about the peripheral stats, obviously, because he's only scoring maybe 10 assists against Cleveland. He ran the point and was an absolute bucket. So now it is Orlando. He's going to have Jalen Suggs. They play super slow. We've seen Orlando play in 2 games where both teams scored less than 100 points, right? So that has to be factored into the situation here. But super exciting for the kid. When Maxey comes back, do you roll the McCain Maxey line? Do you do a McCain Maxey George Embiid Oubre?
Yeah, probably. Or you have him as your firecracker off the bench, right? It's a fun thing to think about. It is a tough spot in this. If he's starting, obviously I'd consider it. it's hard to like imagine a $5,500 guy coming off the bench, knowing Embiid and Paul George, like no restriction for George.
Yeah.
There's going to be an uptick for Embiid. I'm not saying I wouldn't play him, but like just doesn't feel like the spot. Maybe it's a wait and see for me.
Sure.
If he's starting, I think it's definitely a possibility because
he'll probably be popular.
He'll probably be popular. Two things down here that really stand out to me. One, Ben Simmons, 4,800. That guy you just flashed on the screen's next. But I think Simmons is realistically your best candidate to start with if Claxton sits.
Yeah.
I think they start Simmons at the 5. That's what they were doing earlier in the year, right? They were starting
I like that we got the 27 minutes, so it shows like they're at least willing to 26, 25, 27. You can kind of live. You can definitely live with those minutes at 4,800.
Right. Agreed. Dude, I would have interest in Simmons at 4,800 if Claxton's out.
More than Chris Dunn, who started for the Clippers in that
game? Probably not more. I had him at 1%. Played him at 1%. Chris Dunn is a very, I think people always has been a very good fantasy point per minute guy. He just doesn't get the time always, right? It just has been, but like in Utah, he was a good fantasy point per minute guy. Gets the first start of the year. I mean, look at the last 2 games, right? Yeah. The last 2 games where he's extended, super good passer, good rebounder, good enough scoring. And realistically, you usually get the defensive stats because that's what he's known for. And we got it last game. Anytime he's been extended, this year he's been super productive. And I'm not surprised that, they elected to go with this lineup. If Chris Dunn's in the starting lineup again, he's going to be higher owned than 1%. I almost guarantee it.
I'd agree with you. I also don't mind Karis LeVert here. I know the last game against Philly wasn't great for him, but we saw him come off the bench, play decent against Chicago before. 5K, we've seen him have some 30-plus fantasy point games there. Jalen Noel's down here. They didn't start him, but he did play 26 minutes. At 4K. Cason Wallace started. He had 22 fantasy points, 28 minutes there. Would you consider Cason again if he started?
Yeah, I messaged you right before the lock, right? And I was like, there's a lot of people getting to Cason Wallace. 5 steals, clearly got him to the finish line, but he does play in blowouts. So if this game, again, not predicting a blowout, but like he's kind of, my point is that he's safe because he's going to play regardless. He's always live to start too because Dagnall never cares about like who started last game. He might start this game. And then Wiggins.
5 steals.
Yeah, and the 5 steals is, so there's no Caruso again. So the minutes are just going to be there. They just are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Very low floor, but obviously the price is super.
We got 23 minutes from Moore here.
And he was like closing over Holland. And other than the free throws, obviously, so sad for Ron Holland. Feels so bad. Watching that video back.
I don't feel bad because we needed the overtime.
I agree, but I feel bad for him. He was trying to wipe his hands. He's got to step off the line.
91% free throw shooter, bricks them both.
Dude, didn't step off the free throw line. He wiped his hands, didn't step off. Like, dude, you're sweating so badly. He was smiling. Oh, it was a nightmare. But, if everyone's out again, Wendell Moore is he's just playing for them. So
Sasser also got the 25 minutes. At 3K, he paid off 17. At 3,700, you need more.
Yes.
So there's that there. Shooting guard. Again, a lot of these guys we've touched on because of the dual positional eligibility. Jalen Green, Norm Powell would be the first 2 we didn't touch on. And then you also have Zach LaVine down here at $6,800. So the thoughts on those spots?
Truthfully, Green, it's just a forever tournament play because he takes a lot of shots and he's getting the minutes. And I think it's more interesting what they did with the lineup around Green to close that game because there was 2 omissions and 2 people that you and I really enjoy watching play basketball on the floor. But Green's fine for tournaments. Norm finally had a letdown, could not get anything to fall, but I'm never going to not play someone when they take 18 shots or more like every night. I think the Zach LaVine price is criminally low. I'm not just saying that because he's coming off a good game. But, a minutes restriction kind of put him at this price and an injury that he's clearly over. When you look at the last 2 games, he's made 12 field goals in both games, 26 plus in both games. Every game that Zach LaVine's played in this year and has scored, the Bulls have basically been competitive in. Yeah, I mean, I say this to you a lot, but the Bulls are competitive in games that they shouldn't be and lose games that they shouldn't lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's been their motto with this regime, and why people are just please get rid of everyone and just start fresh. But I think LaVine's too cheap for tournaments. It's not a great spot, but every game the Bulls are involved in is just high scoring. Every single one. Orlando withstanding, the Bulls just score a lot of points and make sure the other teams do as well because they can't play defense. So this game had 232 points scored in it last time. It wouldn't be surprised if that's something similar in this one.
Agreed. Working our way down here again. A lot of these guys we've touched on. Oubre 65. Grady Dick is 63 against Detroit. Ben Mathurin $6,200.
Bro, look at this guy again. Ben Mathurin.
Rebounds are good.
Everything, dude. Shots, minutes, rebounds, scoring.
Got 40 points, fantasy points in a game that had 184 total points.
Dude, so. He is so good. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. Free throws, 8 of 9, getting to the line for us here.
It is not. The price just has not caught up to the player yet. The actual player.
Don't you just envision this game just being Hero and Mathurin just going back and forth, just
could very well be that
each other this whole game?
Yeah, because Turner and Bam are both very good defenders, right? Mm-hmm. So not gonna say they're gonna take each other out, but could definitely be some deferrals there.
Grady Dick, my friend.
I know. And knows quickly again. So
that's just what it is, right? When there isn't that second guy, he is the second guy, and really he might be the first guy. 14 of 16 from the free throw line in that game.
That's crazy.
We thought he was just a 3-point shooter, and all of a sudden he's getting to the line like that. Detroit's got nothing really to stop that. So Grady Dick at 63 is fine. Mathurin's great there. Obviously, if Towns is out, you have the Brooklyn revenge game here for Mikal. He hasn't played them yet. You want to throw that out there a little bit. Third coming off 20 points, second highest total of the year at 58. Maybe a little something.
Yeah, dude, he plays 40 minutes a night, right? If there's no Towns who's had 40 burgers in a couple games,
mm-hmm.
I'm definitely in on the rest of the Knicks for sure.
Amen got a double with everybody active. He played 34 minutes in that game.
That's the first piece I was talking about. Yeah. Dude, we are watching it. We're watching the shift.
Yeah.
This guy has to play.
Yep.
And I think Udoka's probably yeah.
They took him in the lottery, so
took him in the lottery. He made 2 threes. That was probably the moment in time in that game when Udoka was yeah, screw it. He's not coming off the floor. He hit the first one, then hit the second one. It was yeah. It's obviously a tough price to get to, knowing that he's not going to start the game. But dude, he just has a crazy ceiling that when he goes on runs like this, he gets you 40 fantasy points and he's going to be 1% owned. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say Amen Thompson's a core play, but we're seeing a shift, and Amen Thompson is sooner rather than later going to be playing 30 minutes a night.
He's basically there, right? Everybody is healthy in that game.
Everyone is healthy,
and he got there. So, yeah, agreed. Agbaji in that game, 35 minutes, he was okay. If you want to get there, price is obviously on the rise. Vassell, 25 minutes for him, slow rise in minutes. He was continues to be kind of a bucket for them. Only 1 of 8 for 3-2, and still had 17 and 27 fantasy points. There will be a point where he starts playing 30 minutes and is too cheap. Yep. Braun would be interesting. Beasley would be super interesting again if there's no Ivy. 44 minutes aside, he went 8 of 16 from 3 after going 5 of 11. Had 10 rebounds in that game, so we probably all flock back to Beasley.
Yeah, well. I think Christian Braun and Malik Beasley are both really solid. I actually like the Christian Brown play with Jokic because I think
Okay.
he gets a lot of his baskets, like everyone, all off of Jokic stuff, right? In the post, kick out, in the Christian Brown's always cutting to the basket. So I would like Jokic to be there for Brown. Obviously Beasley. I think Beasley starts whether or not uh Ivy plays.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously 52 is harder to get to, but he
Right.
has been good. The 35 minutes and 31 fantasy points were with Jaden Ivey the game
Yeah.
before the Milwaukee game. So
Yeah, because that was the game that Hardaway left with the injury.
yep.
So because they could start, Ivy could start, and they start Beasley at the small forward position.
Yep.
So
My thinking too.
Yep. You got Dort, played 32 minutes, gave you his usual typical stat line there. He'll be on the floor. Castle played 27 minutes in that game. You wonder if he's starting to see the Vassell effect a little bit.
Yes, I think so.
Shepard started. Dunn's at the same price. Isaiah Joe, what are our thoughts? Zaire again, 41.
Finney Smith is probable.
Okay.
So, but it is obviously worth, like, how do you not give him more minutes type of thing? Do you think they would go? Do you think they would play him in the starting lineup if Claxton doesn't play, or do you think it's just like all but assuredly?
Yeah, I think Simmons would end up playing.
I agree.
But he's obviously been like super good. Like
I know. Like, how do you not give him minutes type of thing?
Yeah.
I'm indifferent about it.
If he's not starting, you can't play him, obviously.
Yeah. Noel played 26 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't start. He obviously wasn't great, but 11 shots, dude. He's just always going to take shots. So Dalton Connect, I don't know if you saw that. He was amazing the other night against Memphis. It's a super low floor play. But
they moved D'Angelo Russell to their bench. So, I mean,
moved him to the bench, and he just, I think JJ Redick was just like, well, you're not coming off the floor if you're making all your shots. So, that will happen. You're playing off LeBron and Anthony Davis, right? Like, people are going to get open shots. So that's the thing. Duncan Robinson, John, he played 36 minutes in that Detroit game. Again, it was overtime aided. And I know Nikola Jokic left, and Nikola Jokic has already been
probable, right?
Yeah, he's already like basically ruled in. But Kevin Love's playing 9 minutes a game in the starting lineup. Duncan Robinson played the final 17 minutes of the first half, and then the final 8, like whatever it was in the second half in overtime. Like, he just played a lot of minutes. So if there's a chance that Duncan Robinson is going to get that much run, then I do think that there's like a little bit of a case to be made for him there.
No, I agree. We've seen him obviously pop off before when they didn't have guys. They paid him a lot of money, and then they iced him, right? So it will be interesting to see. But we know the threes are there. He's always been a guy who could give you a little of the peripheral stats when on the floor too, but tough to obviously completely trust there.
Right.
Anything else for you?
I don't think so. Anthony Black had a bunch of minutes and fantasy points the other day.
Yeah.
If Grayson plays, I would assume Grayson would get like mid-20s minutes again. He's been fine. He finally shot the ball pretty well last time out, but $3,700. He's listed questionable. So
is that cheap, huh?
That's what I'm saying. No Beal, no Durant, and we've seen the minutes be pretty consistent. Now, will they remain that consistent if Josh Okogie is going to go out and score like 25 actual again? Probably not. But is Josh Okogie going to score 25 actual again? Probably not. So if Grayson Allen plays, I'd consider that.
Okay. Small forward we go then here. LeBron James, Franz Wagner,
nailed it.
Paul George, RJ Barrett, your top 4 price guys here. LeBron is obviously the higher price of the plays. Again, 3 straight triple doubles, basically 60 or more in 4 straight, 76 in the ceiling. Gets the Spurs here. Wagner has been really good as well. Again, Pacers game, he had 46 fantasy points in a game where they only scored 94. So you got that. Paul George, no minutes restriction. He went for 57 in that Knicks game in 32 minutes. Again, we're expecting that to be a little bit of a slower matchup against Orlando. And then RJ, again, he's playing off of Grady Dick. Didn't really have a great game, but, we've seen him have good ones before. I guess the question comes down to, is LeBron your spend up on this slate? Given the options you have? Because, if he is, then you plug him. But if he's not, then you're probably not able to afford LeBron plus somebody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a great play. If you want to deem him as your top play, it's hard to discount anything he's doing, right? He is superhuman. Dude, for all he can get whatever you can hate on LeBron. He's shooting 46% from 3 again after shooting 40% from 3 last year. He's shooting 80% from the line, 79% from the line. He's just getting better again. It's just crazy. So I think he's being enabled by Redick here to these triple doubles. Hey, dude, 3 in a row and we've won all 3 of these games. I don't think that's a coincidence. So if you want to call LeBron your top spend, do it. He's been amazing. Franz is very safe at 88. We've talked ad nauseum about the usage rate that Franz Wagner has had. Didn't even have a great game shooting, 9 of 24, but the minutes were great. And that's all we've asked for. In competitive games, we've asked for Franz, and the shots and the minutes and everything was great. And I wouldn't hate Paul George, just given that there's no restriction and it's Nick Nurse. So that means 40 right off the bat. And then Barrett, 3 for 14, 31 minute, whatever. I'm not overly worried about it because, again, he has the team to himself. So if you want to get to RJ Barrett, do it.
All right. Josh Hart's here. He let us down, obviously, against Chicago there. Tried to backdoor triple-double for us, 6-8-6, but there's no shot. 6 total shot attempts. Shot attempts have been few and far between, really, for him. He had 7 in that, or 12 in that Pacers game, but, less than 10 for most of this season. So that's the least to consider. He's got to be super efficient shooting for him to really have big games or give us the triple-doubles. If there is no Towns, there's obviously more rebounds potential for him. But MPJ would probably be mega chalk if there's no Jokic on this slate at 65.
Dude, he is so good. It is so consistent. He hasn't necessarily flashed this massive ceiling at the price that he's at, but he has been so safe for cash and even for tournaments. I mean, you're getting great return. It's just been super safe. The minutes have been great, the volume has been great, all the peripherals have been great. The defensive stats are probably the most surprising thing of all, because we knew he was going to eventually shoot well. We knew that the rebounds were going to stay pretty consistent, but 1.6 blocks and steals combined is definitely a little bit of a surprise. So with or without Jokic, another guy I love with Jokic because, again, he's set up so nicely with Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a good play with or without him.
Yep, that's fine. Koulibaly, Anunoby, $5,900. We've talked, obviously, Dick and Matherin already. Mikal, we've discussed. Royce O'Neal's $5,600. Amen is here. Murphy's here. Thoughts as we work our way into this 5K range?
Yeah, the tier's fine. Cam J is a little bit interesting. A couple down games in a row, but we obviously know he can get really hot when he makes shots. Bridges and OG are super safe if there's no Towns. Really appealing if there's no Towns. OG's good without Towns.
Yeah.
With or without Towns. The minutes
he hit a couple more threes, his usual 3-point average, and he was looking at another close to 40 fantasy point game there. So
right, and still was well over 5x, 6x return. So good with OG 59. Murphy, the minutes are a little deceptive because he had 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes he played.
Yeah, he did.
So
and then it was a blowout.
So he was definitely going to play more. It's just what it was, right? Foul trouble. You could definitely get there. They need his offense to stay competitive. I forgot DeAndre Hunter was just completely off the injury report. So it does not that I'm going to play DeAndre Hunter because he's missed a lot of games and I
I don't
suspect
know what
he'll
his
be
minutes are
limited.
right?
But that obviously affects the rotation in general. Ricochet is really hard to get to.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a couple minutes off of Jalen Johnson just because like they actually have somebody that can take off the
think they
floor.
take him off the floor? That'd be such a weird spot.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't think you can play Jalen Johnson like 40 minutes a night over an 82 game season. Sure. I just don't think that exists. Like, look at
unless you're on the Knicks or the Sixers, right?
Right. Well, even Towns on the injury report already. Brunson on the sprained ankle already on the injury report. Like we're already seeing like DeRozan back injury. He's playing 40 minutes a night in Sacramento. He might not play if you're playing FanDuel. So like again, I think Hunter just like chips, not like a big chunk, just like where I'm like Jalen Johnson's get us 40. It's like 37 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Where I'm not saying he's any less appealing. It is just going to be interesting to see how they fit him back into the rotation now that like we know Trey, we know Daniels, Ricochet's obviously had a ceiling. Like how does they incorporate him? Kispert continues to play a lot of minutes off the bench. He's fine because he can make a bunch of shots. He just doesn't do anything like great peripherally. The one guy I'm really intrigued by here, John, is Jaime Jaquez. Yes, Tari Eason too. We'll get to Eason for sure. But Jaquez like just didn't play because of the illness. And then there was like they were talking about conditioning as the reason why he like when he came back 16 minutes, 25 minutes of second game, no Jimmy again. I know Jovic is back, but I'm not necessarily worried about Jovic. I think we're working our way to a Jaquez starting while Jimmy's out, and like they just ditched the Kevin Love minutes altogether. If Jaquez were to start against Indiana, I would really, really like that spot at $4,800.
Okay. I just highlighted Eason because he did his thing again. 26 minutes, doubled, block, steal.
He is a freak.
Didn't move his price tag at all. Gave you this almost 8x return there. Good on tournaments. Someone played him. I mean, obviously, he's 6%. You just know what he's going to do. They were playing Thompson and Eason together while they were sitting Smith and
They were Van Vliet. I think, dude, it was Van Vliet. I'm pretty sure Brooks they still ran Dylan Brooks out for 30 minutes. And I think Van Vliet, especially when he was dealing with the injury, Van Vliet 34. So I guess it's Brooks. Maybe
I'm pulling up Edward Puck right now. I thought they had Brooks on the bench.
You're right. I think you're right. Brooks only played 30. Van Vliet played 34.
Let's see.
They closed with Dylan Brooks. They did not close with Jabari.
Jabari didn't play after halfway through the third quarter. How about that?
Eason, and look at Eason closed.
Mm-hmm.
And Thompson basically closed. Kinda. Şengün only played 30 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, Landale played 2 rotations there. Ended the first of the second, end of the third, top of the fourth.
Interesting.
But Jabari did not see the floor again halfway through the third quarter, which is a trend we've seen, right? Because Tari and Amen are just playing so well. They just like play them both over Jabari at that point, I guess.
Would you play Eason at 5K?
It was Dylan Brooks in the fourth quarter that was on the floor, off the floor rather, when they played Eason and Thompson together with Reed Shepherd getting some minutes in that run as well. So interesting. Would I play who? Sorry, what did you say?
Would you play Eason at 5K?
Yeah.
Like that's not too expensive.
No, not at all. And he's such a point per minute freak, and like sometimes Ime just lets that guy go. Right, so they're like, they can't stop him, so I'll take him off the floor, right? So,
and it's both ends too. Like he is a monster on both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm. Anything else down here?
Aaron Wiggins was fine off the bench. Champagny played a bunch of minutes. Javante 1 of 10 from the floor. It's terrible. Highsmith 4,500 is.
You go back to Ron Holland at 39. I mean, he was good outside of the end.
Yeah, he was fine. He was really good because he was 3K. 3,900, 28 minutes was solid. I'd be okay with it. I'm a little indifferent. About it.
Okay.
Where's have we passed to Kogi yet? I just want to look at the game that he had, or is he just not small forward? He's power forward only.
Yeah, power forward only. Sorry, being distracted. Saquon just had back-to-back runs of 40-yard touchdowns, basically. So
it's not bad.
Nope.
Thanks.
Ran for a touchdown. Next possession, Jaden Daniels threw an interception. The next run, 40-yard touchdown. So Saquon is destroying at the moment. All right, power forward. LeBron, we talked about. Jalen Johnson's 89 against Washington. It's like we've been playing a lot of him. He finally got that triple-double we alluded to.
He is quite good.
Very
good.
Quite good. 89 for him. Wagner's there. A lot of these guys we talked about. Guess we'll see. Is Mobley probable as well? Is that what we got?
Yeah, Mobley and Allen are both probable.
Both are probable. Mobley had a double-double in that game. This was the one where you played Allen. He did nothing in, right?
That is correct. Yep. They actually took Allen straight up off the floor and just played Mobley.
Fair enough.
It was really good time.
Got the Kuz at 7K. Played 25 minutes. We'll see if there's like any other increase in minutes. Talk to MPJ. Toby's and super consistent. Can definitely run him out there against Toronto. That won't be a bad spot for him.
44 minutes.
Yeah. Where do we go next? Yabu. Sar 54.
Kaishan 28 minutes or 32 minutes, 28 fantasy points. Price went down $200.
Yeah. I don't find myself getting to a lot of Washington, but I'm sure somebody other than like Poole, I guess, right? Like,
yeah. Sure who's been really good? Peyton Watson, 4,600. Sure. Super consistent. I think the scoring has obviously been better than anyone could have anticipated.
Yeah.
Because he's making 4 for 4 from 3 last game. But the minutes, he played 40 minutes in that Dallas game. So they'll use him as Ingram's primary defender. We've seen Ingram shut down when a good defender guards him, i.e. Lou Dort, every time he faces Lou Dort. So I like Peyton Watson 46. I think he's in line for a good game. Also, what is happening with Patrick Williams? Is anyone out there? Can anyone assess why Patrick Williams is suddenly really good offensively?
He's just making shots, right? He's not shooting a lot, but he's actually hitting the shots he's making.
He's 4,400 playing 30 plus minutes a night.
Yeah.
In a really high octane offense. I get it that it's a tough spot.
He's the fifth option on the floor. So
just had a double-double in this spot, right? Like just was in this spot and had a
he'll be a 1%er.
He'll be 1% roster.
Yeah. They did start Javonte Green, as you mentioned. He went 1 for 10 in that game. I know you said that already. Boucher could be a Boucher spot.
Seemingly a lot of Boucher spots lately, huh? He's been
well, we did not like him against Milwaukee at the 20 minutes because of that matchup. But I definitely am not afraid of Detroit here.
No, not afraid of Detroit.
And he hasn't been getting in foul trouble, so like that's the added bonus. Right? That's been a problem with him.
I don't know if your dogs will bark or your dog will bark if you knock on wood, but I will not be knocking on wood to wake up my family. So if you could knock on wood for us, we need to start reverse jinxing ourselves here.
Yeah.
Because we have really when we mention something specific, that usually backfires on us. So
usually. Yep, that's fair.
I'm just saying, just throwing that out there, right?
Tobin returned, played 19. Go didn't play. Oh, what do we do here? We got 22 minutes out of Mr. Jonathan Isaac.
Yeah, I mean,
what do we do? They played him. They left him on the floor. Was it just a matchup that they liked against Turner? Like, what do we?
It is good. I feel like we said this exact thing last year when he started to play more. We were like, it's good to know that he can play that many minutes, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that? I feel like we've said that every time we've had Jonathan Isaac the last few years. But yeah, I mean, he came in for Goga at the 129 mark and closed as the small ball center. So it's good to see the option now. He's not coming in to be a small ball center in this matchup if
Nope.
Embiid's on the floor. So I think that there's, it's an interesting play. I don't know what the minutes look like in this game, but
If
we're
they
gonna
can
just
ever get him to 25 minutes, like
anytime he's under 4K, it's just a smash play.
he has so much upside.
Yeah, I think like if you project him to play 20 minutes, then he's too cheap, right? I think the baseline is if you think that he plays 20 minutes a night moving forward, then he's too cheap under 4K.
Okay. Anybody else down here? Clowney's 35. There's no Claxton.
Yeah, if there's no Claxton for sure, but I think that's it.
All right, well, that takes us to center where there is Nikola Jokic. He is 12K. If he plays, he's coming off 92 fantasy points. He's questionable due to personal reasons. So this isn't even like an injury situation. It's personal. If he is active, you have to play this guy, right? There's no other. Even though Wemby's coming off the game he is, you still just have to play Nikola Jokic here.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to a point where he is averaging 72 fantasy points a game. He is given a baseline, John, at $12,000. His baseline scoring this year has been 5x, 60, right? In the first game. And then since then, it's been 6x or better in every single game at this price. And he's doing it at 92 fantasy points in regulation his last time out. Yeah. And I think it's the scoring, knowing that, the minutes, the score, like everything has just been on 10 this year for Jokic. He leads the league in the three major categories in the NBA. He's shooting 60% from three. So that's the one thing that people don't like about Jokic, right? He hasn't been able to make threes. He's shooting 60% from three. Yeah. So it is I don't see a scenario where you look at this and you're like, man, 12K is expensive. If he plays and you can build a lineup comfortably around a 12K Jokic, then you build a lineup around a 12K Jokic.
Yeah, 60 fantasy points is 5x at 12K. He's never scored less than 60. He scored exactly 65x on opening night.
Dude,
he's giving you over 5x every single slate at his current price tag. Yeah. So, and I kind of, not to beat a horse here, but that's
no, it's fine, dude. He is just what he is, right? Yep. He is the best player in the NBA, and it's not just the best player in the NBA. He is far and away the best fantasy producer in the sport.
We got Wemby versus AD in this matchup.
Yes, very interesting.
Wemby's coming off back-to-back 70s.
So I'm telling you, whatever scout that you heard, he heard too. He heard the same scout.
Anthony Davis is maybe one of a few players in the league that at least can match in quotations the size and athleticism of Wemby. I don't have much to say about AD in this matchup. We've already kind of hammered like we're paying up for Jokic, so like doesn't seem like we're getting to Wemby and Jokic or AD and Jokic unless we are really spending down somewhere else to get the double spend up here, which would be a lot of money. So if you're opting not to play Jokic and you need the $900, like Wemby's certainly fine. But then I would go down into the mid-range. Like I think it would be those two. I don't think I'd play AD or Embiid. Towns at 91 if there's no Claxton would be pretty interesting to me. Jalen Williams continues to dominate. We really like Bam at 82. Like what are your thoughts in this mid-range?
I wouldn't mind getting to Anthony Davis. He's just obviously, 6 for 16. He went for 50 in a game where he just didn't shoot well, right? That was the only game this year he hasn't shot well. So if you get that, he's averaging 30 a game. If you got the 30 a game plus those peripherals, just add it to the list of other people who broke the slate, right? So I'd be okay getting to AD. I know it's a tough spot, but I'm okay with it. Towns is obviously just unstoppable. There's nothing anyone can do about it other than like a blowout. But even
I mean,
then, it
71
hasn't
for him
mattered,
against
right?
Chicago.
It just hasn't mattered. So if he
Like 30
plays,
shots in that game.
I mean, if he plays, it's just Claxton's good. It just hasn't mattered.
Can OKC play Jalen Williams against Yusuf Nurkic in this game? Or does this just take Yusuf Nurkic off the floor?
Dude, they did it against Zubats. It's the same, like, Zubats is even bigger, I think, than Nurkic. No? I mean, they're both just massive human beings.
Nurkic feels like less athletic.
But,
which could be an insult, but
well, less athletic, but like just massive massive human and in Zubats, and like they didn't take him off the floor. I don't disagree. Phoenix has obviously done that a couple times.
So they've shown more of a willingness to move off him, right?
Right. So
go Royce O'Neal at the 5 or something like that in this game.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who's starting. I think OKC, because like OKC could just run out that, like, Shea is a 6'6" point guard. He's a big point guard to begin with. So like they're mismatching. I mean, it doesn't matter. Williams is super athletic. 8,300 is too cheap for this player that we're getting, sans Chet. I mean, per dollar, this is not like a disrespect to Shea. No. I think Shea's been great. He's the best Thunder spend up. I think per dollar, he's better than Shea, at least from the last couple of games. Shea obviously went for 80, but 51 and 62 at 78 and 81. I mean, he played 31 minutes last game.
Yeah.
Plays 35. There's 70 potential for J-Dub. So love that spot. I think Şengün's going to play mid-30s minutes here in a competitive game, just matching size. Even in a game where he only played 30, he had 45 fantasy points. He's too cheap. He's a mid to high 8s player.
Yeah.
8,200. Love Bam. Love the whole center position. I have nothing.
Yeah, they're all in great spots. Turtle 74 is also in a really interesting matchup here. Let's see, Jalen Duran, 36 minutes against Milwaukee. Now he gets Toronto. Like, he's going to play those kind of minutes here. Like, there's a definite ceiling at 5,900.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting, right? 36 minutes on the second leg of a back-to-back after he missed some time with an ankle sprain, and then just was like, nah, I'm good. Obviously, the shot attempts were awful.
Yeah.
But 9 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, you ever put some points together with that, we're going to have a big, big day. So I agree. Yeah. I think that's a great call of 5,900. Very high ceiling for him.
Yep. The Goga's will be on the floor, obviously. He's playing 28 minutes. They got Embiid. Like, he's going to get on there, get the double-double. I know you've been higher on him. So fine matchup for him there. Yabu obviously will take a back seat. Capella 51, Misi 5K. What are your thoughts when you hit the value range?
I mean, I like Goga. Every time he's really been extended, he's either had or flirted with a double-double. So I like Goga 53. I like Capella 51. But you just got to guess the right day that Capella is going to play minutes, because he's been super productive. It's just like seemingly alternating between him and Kangwoo when one guy plays all the minutes and when the other guy does. Dude, Misi, like, it's obviously a tough spot, but he is back-to-back double-doubles at 5K. I'd be okay going there.
I mean, if Jokic doesn't play, it's way easier, right? Yep. I guess the question is, like, do we get the DeAndre Jordan game?
DeAndre Jordan game.
I mean,
it was last year.
We got it last year. Reggie Jackson, Jordan, Shaq, Kobe.
Clippers versus the Clippers last year. They had a double revenge game, and they actually looked like Shaq and Kobe. We both were tweeting about it. Yeah, we do. So yeah, I mean, he's been now. You know, it's been like, here's the thing. You just play the starter, right?
Yeah.
Between him and Njai, because you don't know who it's going to be. I feel like it's impossible to know on a day-to-day basis, like, is Denver going to go with Zeke Njai or are they going to go with DeAndre Jordan? So you just ultimately play the starter if Jokic isn't out. But if it's DeAndre Jordan starting,
he had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 33 minutes in that game.
Is that the Clippers game?
Yeah, Clippers game last year.
And Reggie had like 40.
Reggie had 35 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals.
Yeah, he's throwing up the lobs.
19. Yeah,
all the lobs to DeAndre.
Dude, it was the most insane because we played DeAndre Jordan. We might have played them both, but we definitely played DeAndre Jordan.
We played
them both. We were losing our mind at that. So yeah. Anyways, just like craziness. If he starts again at 3K against the Pelicans who don't have a center, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're just playing the starter.
Agreed.
Because if Njai starts, he's pretty good on a fantasy point per minute basis too. Or you could just not. You just play DeAndre, right? Either way, DeAndre would be in play. Njai is also they're both min salary center. So
sure,
whoever the starter for Jokic would be is obviously like.
I agree. All right, let's build a lineup. I'm just going to assume Jokic plays.
So we'll assume Jokic plays. Yeah, let's assume Jokic plays.
And then where's our value on this? We've talked a bunch of it. You like Ben Simmons at 48, you mentioned.
Yeah, I like Simmons more, obviously, if
Chris Dunn, if he starts again. But I guess we'll just assume he starts since he's just started, right?
Yes, Chris Dunn should be starting this game. He played too well to suddenly be like, no, actually, Chris, thanks for your contributions, but you're headed back to the bench, buddy.
Right. Do Kaysen, 38?
Yep. OKC value is good.
I'll just assume that they start, right? You got 6K to play.
Matherin? 62.
Matherin is 6K, right?
62.
Yep. Power forward.
Tari Eason, 5K?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Eason. 62 for a forward. We can probably get like one more spendy. Like if we do Trey, that'd be 43.50. Did we have like other like Holland or
it's just Holland is very contingent on Ivy being out. Like Holland's gonna play, but it's not like the surefire.
Boucher?
Boucher's fine.
Pat Will?
Pat Will's fine. Pat Will's
minutes are safer for Pat Will, right?
Minutes are safe for Pat Will.
Did we have any other? You mentioned Okogie. You think Okogie plays big minutes here?
So I think he got hot, and there was no Grayson Allen. So
okay. I guess Grayson could be the play, right? 37?
Grayson could be the play. I think Ryan Dunn, their rookie from Virginia, who has started the last 2 games, could be an option, but Grayson's the better value.
Grayson for now, and then that gives us a 5K util, and this gets us Trae Young and Nikola Jokic in the lineup here. Now, obviously, we're on superstars and scrubs. Can go Levert, Misi, Dort, Jaquez. You like Jaquez?
I did like Jaquez.
Go Jaime. Dunn, Wallace, Matherin, Eason, Jokic, Young, Allen, and Jaquez. Obviously, injury contingent on some of these plays here, but an example of a lineup you can build. Grande is on your playbook. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to break it all down and hopefully get some more injury news and clarity for all of you. Until then, everybody, we'll catch you later.